Welcome back to episode 25. So in this video I'm going to just drop back about a week and show a couple of things that I fitted on the engine and didn't talk about, just so you can see those things being done. I'm a stickler for trying to cover everything to make sure you see it, the whole lot. And then I'm going to crack on with reassembling the MAF unit and sort of stepping towards getting it laid out on my bench and skirting through the injectors and everything so we can check it all works. And a few little admin things. Please remember to subscribe and click the like button. And don't forget, at the end of each of the videos, I'm putting on the costings for that week or the period. I try and do it every time so you can see that running total and we can kind of start seeing how much you're going to spend in the long run and all that sort of stuff. Right, I think it's time to try and get the water regulator, water bridge, whichever you want to call it, on. I've had it lying around for a while now, just sort of debating how to do it and when to do it. But I'm just going to go for it because I'm waiting for all of the some parts for the fuel distributor, or the sealant specifically. So let's do this while we're waiting. I've put a little bit of sealant on. I'm going to basically put it either side of this gasket. Just pop these on. It's fairly thin smearing of sealant. Thin in my book, I've nothing to compare with. Right, so let's just get those seated. Just a quick bead around there. Right, and let's pop that in place. Right, I can't see a specific torque spec for these, so I'm going to take them up to the generic. They are M8 bolts, so I'm going to take them to 20. Seems to be the going rate. 20. And that I can't get on. I'll have to do that by feel. I think I don't have. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get a socket on that short enough. I don't think I've got one actually. No, I don't. Okay, so I'm going to have to just do this approximately. Gauge roughly what I think the correct torque is about there, somewhere I would say. Just, yeah. Okay, so I've certainly not over tightened it. Right, then I'll need to tighten these up. These are just in sort of loosely. One thing I've not shown you yet is how I tidy up the fuel lines. So it's one of those jobs I've been doing in the background, but I thought I'd just show you. You can see the sort of time it takes. Wire brush on the drill. I put my iPhone here so you can see how long it takes in real time, but I'll speed up the recording. So let's have a go at it. And there you go. That's 13 minutes start to end. You can't really tell from there. It's pretty clean. I might zoom you in, you might be able to see a little bit better. So the end bit, I've just gone around the bolt. I'll clean up the actual fuel fitting with some Scotch-Brite, just very gently so I don't scratch that. Same on the other end. that's cleaned up, relatively well. You can see the actual tubing itself. It comes up okay. What I need to decide is what actually to do with them, whether I'm going to spray them a colour or even spray them silver so it looks metal, or just to leave them like this and lacquer them. I still need to decide what to do there. Okay, one of the last remaining jobs with this MAF fuel distributor rebuild is to replace the mechanism inside here on the swinging plate. There's got a counterweight. There's clearly some kind of mechanism here that allows it to swing. Oh, if I can get that. There's a circlip here that I just need to take off, but it's quite tight. Okay, now we're in business. Incidentally, I probably didn't need to do this because the swing arm actually moves really nice and freely, but I've bought the kit, so I may as well do it, and it's quite useful video for others to see what's in there. Little ball going to come out now, or is he still playing hard to get? Interesting. That's the ball. So where is the last missing piece? Is the spring. Must be in there somewhere. Okay, that's one side from all I can see that comes out. So let's do the other side the same. Clearly there is a spring deep in there somewhere. Right, so that's fairly clean inside there now. I'm not sure it will be visible on the camera. Let's just zoom you in a little bit. Let's have a look. That's what we can do. Okay, so you can see it's fairly clean inside there now. Looking a bit better. So let's do the reinstall. So one side first. Ball. Very tight fit. Okay, so I cheated. I've put that in there. You can see, without that second spring, there's no physical way that can go in. Even with the spring compressed down to nothing, the height of the spring is still too big. But it appears correct. I'm looking at the mechanism, and the spacing between the two sides is exactly the same. And it all moves smoothly, so I think it's fine. I don't know what to say really. I'm going to look up a bit more online, but it's together. It works. Don't know. Bit of a mystery. Moves pretty smoothly though, same as before. So I'm not sure it even needed doing, but either way, that is now complete, and we can start talking about the reassembly of this onto the base. I forget what it's called, doesn't matter. And then the fuel distributor goes on here, and all the bits come together again. So next up, I'm going to put the two halves of the MAF together with the gasket. I'm going to put it on dry because it only carries air. I don't see any real need to use sealant. Let's make sure it all lines up neatly. Yep, must be the correct way up. Looking, because there's a hole that is only on one side. It just about fits. So it's the best fitting gasket in the world. Okay, so this is our boy. I've given this a little bit more of a clean up and sprayed it with my jet lac, which is like an aluminium protector. Should just fit, drop it on there. I'll get a couple of bolts in and we can see. Using new bolts. I seem to have every single size of M6 bolts you could imagine. Right, we're ready to put the fuel distributor back onto the entire MAF unit. I got my photo of before I took it off, so I've got the orientation correct. And it is this way round, if I'm correct. That's good, that's all nice and smooth still. Just checking the plunger still dropped, which it does. So it looks like it's that way. Just making sure. Right. Cleverly I've got screws underneath. Looking around to make sure it doesn't look like it's hitting anything strangely. Looks good. Right, I put nice new these sort of bolts that have rubber in between that connect this entire unit onto the engine. They're nice and new. I'm just looking at these clamps. So I've picked up some new ones that are slightly too long, and I'm just wondering whether I can cut them. They're the correct size now. This is their, that's the size I need. That's the size they come in. So I've got this sort of surplus, and I'm just wondering whether I can cut that off. I might just try, because then I can put new ones on. So this is quite an exciting bit. What I've done is I've laid the MAF unit back in on the engine, on its little rubber bolt things. Put a couple of the runners in just temporarily, not done the bolts up more than half a turn, just so I can get the alignment of the fuel lines. Because what I realised is I torqued these up all nice and square, but then when I attach the fuel lines, they're all sort of all over the place. So I've slackened them off now, so I can move the fuel lines into the correct place. I'll tighten them up slightly and then take it all apart again. I'll do the other side as well while I've got it on here. But it's nice to see it all back together. It looks pretty cool, really. It looks like a real engine. So this is as far as I've got with building the fueling system on my bench. You can check out my carpentry skills there. That's just holding the MAF in place because it kind of rolls over because of the rounded bottom. I'm just holding this fueling line up loosely, so you can see I'm going to have to build something to hold it up about that height. And then I've got these little sort of containers, measuring jugs, that I'll be squirting the injectors into. There's the warm-up regulator. I'm taking the decision not to rebuild the warm-up regulator yet. It's complicated, so what I'm going to do is try it and see what it does, see if it works. I think that's the sleeping lion. I don't need to wake up just now. These are the supply and return lines. That's ultimately where I'm going to be pumping the fuel in from the original pump that's sitting there. I'll put it on the other side. They're the other fuel lines, and that's one of the other warm-up regulator pipes. So it's getting there. I think probably another few days and I'll have that all built and ready to try out. So I think that pretty much wraps up this video. I've managed to get the entire fueling system connected up and laid out on the bench. And I've built this wooden framework to hold all the pieces in place, roughly the place they would be in the engine. And I'm doing that so that I don't strain any of the metal fuel lines. I don't want to sort of be pulling them in weird directions and things. So all that's left to do now is to connect on the 8 injectors, wire up the fuel pump and the fuel lines, the petrol tank feeds, and then we're ready to give it a go. It's going to be really interesting to see whether the fuel distributor I built last week leaks and whether it actually works and supplies fuel. Whether these 41-year-old fuel lines and connectors all connect up correctly and securely still, whether they leak, and ultimately whether the whole system can supply even fuel across all 8 injectors, which is what we're really after, otherwise the car's not going to run very well. So join me next week, hopefully we'll be doing that. I've also got a crazy idea of what we can do with this for a bit of fun out in the garden and sort of try some things out with it. So yeah, that hopefully will be in the next video. We'll be doing that sort of stuff. So please join me next week and I'll see you then.